Hello students, welcome to biotechnology class. This is Gayatri, lecturer in biotechnology, DRW College, Goodur. Now we are going to discuss about tissue culture laboratory design. Already we have discussed about entire concepts of the tissue culture in that animal tissue culture as well as plant tissue culture. Whatever the tissue culture it is, we should maintain the proper and perfect laboratory. See, this is the design. We should maintain like this. See, when you enters, then your lab should be just like a glass, clean glass. Whatever it is, your floor is covered with a tile, your walls are covered with any other designs and all, you should maintain just like a clean glass. Remember always this point. Then see here, there is a cold room at the corner, upper corner. Here sterilization glassware you keep over here. Then service cards here. Then this is aseptic area. Here you have to maintain laminar airflow hoods. These both are laminar airflow hoods. Here you can inoculate, you can after you can do all your tissue culture inoculation work over here. Then air inlet here, here hot room, okay, here microscopic room, here quarantine room. Whatever the contaminant glassware and all, you keep over here. You should not expose these uh, glassware and other damaged items to your sterilized area. That's why this is quarantine room. Nowadays, quarantine is a very well-known word after introduction of the COVID-19. So, you no need to discuss more concepts about a quarantine room. See, okay, contaminated items all you keep over here. That is called quarantine room. Then here cylinders, then here incubator, then sterilized glassware and plasticware, all you keep on your workbench. And then come to storage, then preparation area, then corridor it is, then water purification counter is here, then ovens, autoclaves and all items, sterilizing items you keep over here. Then this is washing area. Here there are so many sinks. Here there is a dryer and glassware washing machines all are here. See, this is the basic design of the tissue culture laboratory. According to your comfort and all, you can change slightly, you can modify your design. Okay. And then next, coming to equipment. This what are the major equipment is necessary for maintaining tissue culture laboratory? Laminar airflow cabinet. Without this equipment, you can't do any sort of a tissue culture technique. Vertical laminar airflow techniques are preferable. Laminar airflow machines are preferable. They are fitted with HEPA filters and UV light. UV light is for the sterilizing purpose. To sterilize this working area, you have to switch on your UV light for 10 to 15 minutes. After that, you switch off the UV light and then you switch on the blower which is giving you HEPA air. Then only you need to open your glass. Then you have to work. You should not be exposed with the UV light which is a highly carcinogenic. The radiation effect is there for UV light. If so many times you expose to UV light, it is carcinogenic, it will damage the DNA. Then incubation facilities, temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, CO2 incubator, 2 to 5% CO2 and 95% air at 99% relative humidity maintaining equipment. It is, you have to maintain this also in your tissue culture laboratory. Then refrigerators. These are also very important because some media, some reagents and some whatever you use in your preparation of the media and you use the hormones and all, you have to maintain at lowest temperatures. That's why it is a very mandatory for the maintenance of the refrigerator in tissue culture laboratories. Then microscope, you have to maintain must. Then tissue culture ware, culture plastic ware, then treated by polystyrene and all. Okay, these all are important equipment. See, all these you have to maintain your tissue culture laboratory. This is autoclave. See, this is autoclave. You know all these, no? This is refrigerator. This is rotor. This one spinning machine and all. And tissue culture media. Cells have complex nutritional requirements that must be met to permit their propagation into in vitro. Previously, scientists employed chick embryo extract, plasma sera, lymph, etc. However, they varied in their growth promoting characteristics and thus hampering the reproducibility of the experiments. Today, a number of chemically defined formulations have been developed that support the growth of variety of established cell lines. Here see, cells have complex nutritional requirements that must be met to permit their propagation in vitro. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, if you maintain the minimal nutritional requirements or minimal nutritional composition media, it is not possible to cultivate in vitro conditions our tissues or cells because they requires a lot of nutrients, complex nutrients. Previously, scientists employed chick embryo extract, plasma sera, lymph, etc. for the maintenance of the tissue culture media. However, they varied in their growth promoting characteristics and thus hampering the reproducibility of the experiments. Today, a number of chemically defined formulations have been developed that support the growth of a variety of established cell lines. See here, previously they was using natural medium like chick embryo extract, plasma sera, like that. Lymph also they was using as a tissue culture media for the proper development of the cells in a tissue. Now today chemically defined formulations, so many combinations are developed and designed. So we are following today chemical formulations for the maintenance of the tissue culture media. See, these are the steps. You are taking a tissue from an animal. Then see, these are several kinds of mediums. Okay, MEM, DMEM, IMDM, RPMI 1640, HAMS, F12. The various nutrients required are glucose is mandatory, fats and fatty acids are necessary, lipids, phospholipids and sulfolipids are very important for the preparation of animal tissue culture media. ATP and amino acids are must and should we need to provide, otherwise you can't develop the tissues in a newly developing tissues. Then vitamins, minerals are also playing a major role in the proper development of a tissue. Then serum, you need to provide some serums, hormones, cell adherence factors and other factors needed by the most mammalian cells for their long-term growth and metabolism. Properties and special requirements of the media. See, these all are very important. These play a major role. If you provide whatever the medium composition, how much rich medium you provide, you need to maintain the proper pH, proper temperature, proper aeration, proper environmental conditions. Then only it is possible to develop a tissue. See, this is the optimum pH in between 7.2 to 7.4 is mandatory to maintain for the proper development of your tissue artificially or in vitro level. Phenol red is used as an internal indicator. Okay. Then oxygen, you have to maintain the proper oxygen. Then temperature, what is this is the room temperature you must maintain. then humidity levels are maintained properly, then the antibiotics, what and different kind of antibiotics you have to use. Why? Because to reduce the contamination, other bacterial cells and other contaminated contaminants may are ready to grow to damage our healthy tissue. That's why you need to maintain some antibiotics for the use for the usage and to control the infections. And then limitations of serum, it is undefined with respect to its chemical compositions. It can be a source of adventitious agents and their byproducts. Serum also presents a variable performance of cell growth and adds some substantial cost. Problem during downstream processing availability. See, these are some limitations of usage of the serum. It is very undefined chemical composition. It varies from serum to serum, and some adventitious agents are there as a byproducts here. That's why these are some limitations are there in usage of the serum in the tissue culture medium. Then serum pre-media also you can prepare. Okay, important amino acids, some trace elements, growth factors, hormones, transport proteins and adherence factors are added. Addition factors added are main components of the intercellular substance and serum, such as fibronectin, collagen and laminin. Primary purpose of introducing SFM is to promote the specific growth of a particular type of a cell. Then types of tissue culture. These all are different types of the tissue cultures. Advantages are there, disadvantages also are there. See, cell culture, explant culture. Tissue from an explant is dispersed mostly enzymatically into a cell suspension, which may then be cultured as a monolayer or suspension culture. Suspension culture means if you inoculate these cells into liquid media, that kind of cultivation is known as suspension culture. Then by enzymatical treatment, you separate your cells, healthy cells from a tissue, and then you use them as a monolayer, single layer. Mono means a single. Explant culture is the growth of tissue or cells separated from the organism. This is typically facilitated via use of liquid or semi-solid or semi or solid growth medium such as broth or agar. Here we are using the suspension culture. Here we are using agar medium or some gel like broth. And then advantages over here cell culture technique is development of cell lines over several generations, scale up is possible, absolute control of physical environment is we follow here. Then homogeneity of sample means all cells are equal, less compound needed than in animal models. Here, some normal functions may be maintained better than organ culture for scale up, but not ideal. So, this is somewhat better than this explant culture. There are some disadvantages over here as well as here also. Then organ culture, the entire embryos or organs are excised from the body and culture. This is known as organ culture. There are several advantages of organ culture. So many tissue culture scientists follow this organ culture technique only. There are advantages here. Normal physiological functions are maintained. Cell remains fully differentiated here. Then few disadvantages also are there under organ culture. Scale up is not recommended. Growth is slow. Fresh explantation is required for every experiment. So this is some a major defect here. Then here see, this is extraction, this is enzymatic digestion. These all are steps we need to follow for the isolation of a healthy tissue. And then primary cultures. Let us discuss these primary cultures in our next class. Up to this I am stopping because there is a 5 minutes video recording option only is there in Screencast-O-Matic. That's why I will continue this primary culture in our next class. Thank you, students.